is the elements of survival. So you need shelter, heat, you need good water, purifying it, absolute essential, and then food. It's a real thing of beauty at the moment.
How does an experienced survivalist go missing out in the wilds of Scotland, leaving no sign that he was ever there? His wife describes his disappearance like him being sucked into a vortex and just vanishing. It's time to turn on the searchlight for Finn Creaney. Welcome back to Brain Scratch Searchlight. I'm John Lordan. Before we get into today's case, just a quick reminder that CrimeCon is coming up, and I'll be there. Will you? Come to Orlando, Florida, September 22nd through the 24th to meet me at CrimeCon, and you can save 10% by using the code CRIMEAFTERCRIME to buy your standard pass. That's Crime After Crime with no spaces, and if you want to join us for a little meet and greet, including the recording of our final episode of Crime After Crime, forward your ticket purchase confirmation to me at crimeaftercrime@LordanArts.com. It's on a first-come, first-served basis. Spaces are limited, so don't wait too long. Now, let's take a look at today's Searchlight case. Finn Creaney's life and career have really only just begun. He lives in the Tain area of Easter Ross in Scotland with his wife Lucy and their daughter Luna. Lucy and Finn have known each other for more than 13 years, getting married in August of 2021. Both are lovers of the Lord of the Rings film trilogy, and we're lucky enough to have the people who make the costumes for the Netflix series The Witcher make their wedding outfits. Finn's was very similar to the one worn by Aragorn during his time as a ranger, including a long brown jacket. In 2022, Lucy started a business as a florist, and Finn also had many irons in the fire. He worked at a local school where he taught bushcraft to the students, skills that you need to live out in the wild. While he hiked and camped in the wilderness, he also filmed his exploits and tips for survival for his YouTube channel, Wildcat Bushcraft, which he started in January of 2021. His channel showcases his survival skills in the Scottish Highlands. Some of the more extreme videos show how to survive by building emergency shelters and how to survive in sub-zero temperatures. His wife Lucy says he's a very adventurous soul. It would be strange if he wasn't adventuring. In March of 2022, he planned to film the last episode of Season 2 for Wildcat Bushcraft. However, 2 weeks before he was scheduled to leave, Lucy dropped a bombshell on him. She was pregnant with their first son. It was a dream come true for both of them. It was unseasonably warm on the morning of Friday, March 25th, the day Finn was scheduled to leave for an overnight hike. The family shared a group hug before Finn set off with his camera equipment, wearing a black t-shirt, his knee-length brown leather jacket from the wedding, dark-colored trousers, brown waterproof boots, and a green rucksack. The rucksack held enough provisions to get him through a couple of days. He also took a water bottle, knife, and a poncho with him. "I'll see you on Sunday," he said as he left the car. His destination was the Loch Neighbour area, about an hour's drive from his home in the Scottish Highlands. Loch Neighbour is a loch, which is a lake or sea inlet in the Far parish in Sutherland in northern Scotland. The loch is nearly 10 kilometers or about 6 miles long, but less than 1 mile across. He planned to park his car at the Gulspie Beach car park where he would end his hike. A family member was then taking him to his starting point to drop him off. Presumably during that ride, somewhere around 12:52, Finn called Lucy, but got her voicemail instead. His message said, "Hey honey, love you lots, and I'm really proud of you." He, of course, was speaking about her new florist business. He promised her that he'd be back by midday on Sunday, just in time to deliver the Mothering Day or Mother's Day gift orders to her customers. Finn is known to always keep his promises. However, he would not make it back in time to help with those deliveries. We know that Finn's cell phone signal was lost around 1:47 p.m. while he was in the village of Lairg. We don't know if the phone was shut off, broken, ran out of battery life, or if it was just too far from cell service. The thought that the battery ran out seems somewhat unusual, though, as he would be typically using his phone to film his YouTube series. At 2:15 p.m., he was dropped off near Loch Naver. His walking route would take him around the loch and south to Golspie, which was about 17 miles. Despite whatever issue was affecting his cell phone, it's believed that Finn started to make his way on his hike. Around 3:45 p.m., mountain bikers believe they saw Finn 3 miles from the starting point. They all seemed to agree that he was cheerful. When Lucy looked at her phone late Saturday night, she noticed that the messages that she had sent to her husband that afternoon and evening were unread. She thought this was odd, but knew he was using the phone to film and left it at that. After all, Finn was fine. He always was, she assured herself. On the evening of Sunday, March 27th, Lucy started to panic. Finn hadn't shown up by midday as he had promised. Trying to stay calm, she told herself that Finn's hike had just taken longer than he expected. At 6:30 p.m., she told herself that Finn's phone must have died, otherwise he would have called. On Monday morning, she called the school that he taught at. She would tell them, "I'm Finn Creaney's wife, and this is going to sound weird, but is Finn there?" They informed Lucy that he was not there, and he hadn't been there since the week before. This is when she called police and reported him missing. Official searches soon began. The police searched on foot with the support of the Air Support Unit, as well as a number of partner agencies, including Mountain Rescue and Coast Guard. Other officers were deployed to Finn and Lucy's home. Lucy said it felt even more surreal when the police turned up at our house and seized everything they could in search of potential evidence. Of what? I do not know. Of course, they found nothing that helped provide any answers. We live in a tiny row of houses in the middle of nowhere. This must have been so hard for Lucy. She's pregnant, struggling with wondering where her husband is, and all of a sudden has to deal with law enforcement investigating their home for signs of trouble. Looking at it another way, though, here in the States, if you're an adult and you go missing, it won't be investigated as a potential homicide unless there's very compelling evidence that's present. In this case, the Scottish police were essentially taking the investigation to the next level right from the start. So while it might be tough on family members that are indeed innocent and have no idea what's going on, in some of those other cases, it could provide vital information that leads to answers and maybe even justice. Finn's family and friends were questioned, and they all concurred that he seemed generally happy in his life and with his family. With a baby boy on the way, they all agreed that he would not have run away from home. Friends and family soon started their own search efforts, but after 3 to 4 weeks of looking, they just didn't find any signs of Finn. He was supposed to stay out there overnight. However, no campsite was ever located. Lucy states, "It's like he literally vanished. We've chosen to be positive. We have chosen to keep looking for him. I could never live with myself if it was otherwise. You're supposed to be there, in sickness and in health, until death do you part." The family has continued their efforts. Ground searches have been held on many occasions. They've put up posters, made social media appeals, researched online for any relevant clues. There have been sightings, but none of those have been confirmed to actually be Finn. Finn's birthday was especially hard on his family. On December 19th of 2022, his father, Mark, took to TikTok, where he asked everyone to stay positive and send their birthday wishes to Finn. He also expressed some of his frustration. Every week since Finn's disappearance starts the same for his father, Mark. The 56-year-old put his business on hold in order to continually search for his son. Every day he walks the mountains, moors, cliffs, lochs, and bogs until he can't walk any farther, searching for any sign of Finn. He spends 3 to 4 nights camping before he returns home rests, and starts that whole process over again. Later in December, he updated everyone with sad news. Quote, "We have been forced off the hill down to bad weather. So we are home for a bit, which is not easy as we want to get back up there. As soon as the bad weather clears, we're going to continue our search." Mark does believe that his son is still out there. "Until I've covered all the ground, I can't be sure he's not there. It doesn't matter how long it takes. I'm not going to stop." Of course, several theories have been tossed around. Parm Sandhu, former chief superintendent of the Met Police, believes there are 3 distinct possibilities. Quote, "The first would be that it was an accidental issue. Something has happened to him. Now, bearing in mind, he is a fit young man. He's used to camping out. He's used to that sort of life. That would be a theory that doesn't hold water." Now, personally, we've covered a lot of stories on Seriously Mysterious in collaboration with StrangeOutdoors.com, and many times you have people with substantial outdoors experience, sometimes even park rangers with decades of experience, that go missing. We know accidents can happen to any of us, and in some of these remote locations, the ability to get help isn't always an easy proposition, especially if your cell phone is having some type of service issue. While it doesn't seem very likely in this case, I really think that that's one theory that just can't be completely ruled out. Sandhu continues, "The second one would be that he has voluntarily gone missing, and some people do that. But when you look at his family, and he was excited about the birth of his second child, you look at that and you think, is that really credible?" I think Sandhu makes a good point. We're talking about someone that's recently married. They already have a child. His first son is on the way. The only thing I can see here that is a possible indicator is that his phone appeared to go out of service very early on in this trip. I believe it's when he's being driven to the drop spot. And if that's happening, could that show some intent? Did he shut off his phone? It's a possibility. I don't know how strong it is. It could be due to service issues in the area. I know that many of our national parks here in the US, the location of roads that run around them is considered strongly in cell tower placement, but I just don't know the specifics of that area. Sandhu's third theory is that there is a third party involved in Finn's disappearance. Unfortunately, there are also many cases where that does happen, even in outdoor areas where you wouldn't necessarily expect a lot of human contact. Did he come across someone with nefarious intentions? I would think that it probably wouldn't be a case of it being a planned crime, but maybe some type of disagreement or just a crime of opportunity. Lucy is staying open to all possibilities. Quote, "You have to think of all scenarios and explore all scenarios, no matter how painful it is. Because at the end of the day, you want to find your special person." The hardest part of all has been that she has given birth to their son, Bran, all on her own. Quote, "I think that's pretty much every pregnant woman's worst nightmare, is to give birth without their husband," she said. She also spoke about what her daughter's going through. "When my 5-year-old daughter cries at night for her father, I repeat what I've told her for almost a year. Daddy has gone on one of his adventures. I don't know what's happened, but I'm doing everything I can to get the answers. I love you, I love Daddy, and I miss him." Husband and father, Finn Creaney, has been missing for over a year now, and his family is still looking for help. Finn stands at about 5 feet 11 inches tall, and he has a slim build. His complexion is light, with freckles on his arms and nose. He has long brown hair down to his lower back, and a full brown and reddish or ginger beard, which is short in length. He was last seen wearing a black t-shirt, dark-colored trousers, brown waterproof boots, a knee-length brown leather jacket, which was slightly aged and is a replica of that Aragorn's ranger costume from Lord of the Rings. He was carrying a green Berghaus rucksack and a green wool poncho. He was planning to film a YouTube video, so it's presumed that he may have had more camera equipment with him as well. Police Scotland Inspector Chris Murray stated, "I would like to thank the public who have already been in touch and also encourage anyone who thinks they may have seen something or has any information they feel relevant to make contact with us on 101, quoting reference number 0912 of March 28th, 2022. You can also send tips to the email address you've seen on the screen here, searchforfincreaney@outlook.com. Please share this video with friends in Scotland to help keep the awareness raised to this case. Also, if you would like to help support the family's search efforts directly, there's a link in the description box below through justgiving.com. And on behalf of myself and my supporters, we have already made a donation. They're very close to hitting their goal amount, so please consider checking it out for yourself and seeing if you can add to that with us. Of course, I can't make donations without support from many amazing people. A big thank you to PayPal supporters Jennifer Wilson, Larissa Mertshank, and Hillary Green. If you'd like to be a part of that team, please visit LordanArts.com. There you can sign up for Patreon, sign up for PayPal, buy merchandise, or even just buy us a coffee like Gen417 recently did. We really appreciate your support on our mission to run as few ads as possible and help as many cases as we can. Thank you, the Northern Times, Scotland Police, The Daily Record, StrangeOutdoors.com, RossShireJournal.co.uk, Telegraph.co.uk, Press and Journal, Iverness Courier, StrathsbyHerald.co.uk, and Wikipedia for information contributing to today's story. Of course, a big thank you to everyone that's supporting Finn's family through this. Let's keep those eyes, ears, and hearts open and looking for Finn Creaney. I'll see you again here soon on the LordanArts channel.